What is up, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Dense Pixels podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Brad, joined by my co-host, Micah.
Hey.
And Carrie.
What's up?
The news is slow, so I figured this would be a good time to do the 32-bit console draft, which was a really good time when me and Micah did the 16-bit version, and now Carrie is here, so this will be interesting. Obviously, the 32-bit consoles have a lot of really great games to choose from. But before that, we have some games to talk about. We have one news story to talk about. Micah, we'll start with you because you played two games that I would say are diametrically opposed. You had a very, emotional game about fatherhood, and then your annual horny game purchase for the year. So dealer's choice. You can talk about whichever one you want first.
Let's talk about Tales of Kenzara, Zau. It is a Metroid-style game developed by Surgent Studios, who is like the founder is like the voice of Bayek from Assassin's Creed Origins, which is nice. This is a fun game. Look, it's a Metroid style game, a Metroidvania if you want to be conformist. And with it, like the hook with this game is that there are two different like fighting styles. One is with the Mask of the Moon, the blue style, which generally is based around ranged attacks, and the Mask of the Sun, which is the orange style, which is all melee. It's a very fun game, like most Metroid style games are. Pretty precise platforming sections. So the thing with these games is you know what you're getting from a gameplay standpoint for the most part. So the way that these games tend to stand out is through all the superficial stuff and story, right? And look, I fully acknowledge my bias, right? I'm black. It's a black ass game, but I really am digging the story. The framing device is that of a young man who recently lost his father, and his mother gives him a book that his father was working on to kind of help him deal with loss. And that book, the character is reading the book, and then that book is the actual game. Like that's the framing for which you're going around jumping on like little aliens and stuff. And it's a very similar story. Someone who lost their father goes to the God of the Dead. God of the Dead says, "Hey, I want some more time with my dad." And the God of the Dead says, "Okay, if you riddle me these questions 3, right? If you bring me these 3 souls that have eluded me, I will give you time with your dad." So that's what you're doing. You're going, and I'm assuming the 3 souls are the bosses, right? And you're going around and you are learning lessons on life along the way. It's really good. It really, really is good. It tells a better father-son story than those God of War games. I really dig it. It's also a very beautiful game. It's being compared to like Black Panther in that this is a very futuristic African fictional African country. There's a lot of purple. It's a beautiful like Afrofuturistic like vibe to it. And yeah, man, look, I recommend this to anybody, especially if you're like a parent. It's a fun game. It's solid at what it does, and the cherry on top is this wonderful story. So far, I mean, the story could go to shit. I don't know. I doubt it, but I don't know. And the voice acting is really, really well done. Voice acting for games like these, in my experience, is not like a highlight just because like the story's not what you're there for. But you'd be here for this story. It's very good, man. And look, I like these last Metroidvania game that I've played that I really liked was Guacamelee because of the aesthetics and the silliness of it. I put this right up there with it, not in terms of like how silly it is, but it's a great story. It's a fun type of game. Absolutely love it. Highly recommend it. It's less than $20.
Yeah, that's the thing for me is like it seems like a good value game, especially compared to like the Prince of Persia game that came out recently, which apparently is excellent, but it's $50. Like that,
Yeah,
like which
man.
seems insane to me.
It's hard to want to justify spending $50 on a game in that style.
That's not
beyond the
Metroid.
fact
I have
that-
to put that
That's
caveat in there.
that's basically
Yeah.
not Metroid. It's like, yeah, here's the thing: if Prince of Persia had been doing that style of game anytime since the mid '90s when they first started doing it, right? Then like, yeah, that would have been different. But it's hard to want to go from the more recent Prince of Persia games back to that 2D style and still justify the price tag. Not to
Yeah.
say that it's not good. Again, apparently it's fucking excellent, but when you have so many other Metroidvania style games on the market for $20 or less, it's just sort of like, it's a hard sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
So, so I was, I'm on the fence. I was on the fence about this game. Hype is. I am affected by hype and FOMO. Right. I am. I know who I am. I'm 43 years old. I know. I know what I am. I'm setting my ways. I was thinking about getting this, but I wasn't going to. And then I started looking at reviews, and reviews are like, oh, this next game is decent, and it's surprisingly good. And then I got contacted from a listener. Shout out to Steve. He had recently bought Midnight Suns and was like, hey, I thought you were kind of being a little hyperbolic with your criticisms of the story. No, you were right. It's fucking ridiculous. It's. I'm sitting there watching a movie with Blade. It's like, what am I doing? But he also said, you should check out Stellar Blade. It's actually really good. Stellar Blade is a pretty good game. It's not like it has the makings of being something that could be a franchise.
It
It's
feels a lot like it could be the next Bayonetta in a lot of
yeah,
ways.
yeah. Well, the
Which
one
is a
thing,
shame.
but the one thing that Bayonetta has style and personality. I'm talking about the character, and that goes a long way, especially with games like this. This game is firmly like stuck in the early 2000s in terms of like the character,
It's a
right?
fucking PlayStation 2 action game that they put on the PlayStation 5 is
Yeah,
the vibe
yeah.
that I have gotten from it.
It is a perfectly cromulent TM game that it's kind of like a hack and slash in like Devil May Cry, but like with Devil May Cry, you can kind of go on autopilot, and with this game, and Devil May Cry is a little faster. With this game, you can't just go on autopilot. Like the enemies are different enough, and the mechanics are different enough that you kind of need to think about your encounters, but they're actually really good. It's an actually a very very fun fighting system. Like I will go out and seek out enemies to fight them, and it has some very light Souls elements to it. They have camps that you got to activate, and if you choose to rest at it, then minor enemies will respawn and all that. But it's not as punishing. Death is not as punishing as those Souls games. The only thing that might make it punishing is that you can only save at a camp, and camps so far are few and far between. But even then, if you die and respawn, you don't respawn at the camp necessarily. You respawn pretty close to where you are. And you don't lose everything that you got, right? And so death is not a there's no anxiety with death. But at the same time, like this game's not taking it easy on you, right? Like these enemies will attack you through your attacks. There's a specific way you have to stun them. Blocking is very like you got to block and not necessarily dodge all the time. You got to master parrying in order to stun these enemies. So the game's not taking it easy on you, but it's not like I want to break my controller bad. Look, I understand that. It's my understanding that you know this character is a sexy lady, right? Like and like some of the outfits, I don't have a lot of them, but one of the outfits is just a skin suit. It's just a body condom, right? It's a flesh toned.
A lot of them are just body condoms, but yes, there is one that's very flesh tone.
Yeah, it's
That
flesh.
basically just like outlines her fucking tits and ass and whatnot, which is
Right. It's just like
funny that that's in there because I feel like we can't talk about Stellar Blade without talking about the current meltdown that some terminally online dweeb ass dorks are fucking having over censorship regarding one of the numerous outfits you can put this character in.
so. What is this? I've been fortunate
Okay.
enough to not be into surrounded by all of that.
Unfortunately, Micah, I am terminally online and I am therefore extremely aware of what's going on here. Side note, before we get into this, can we please have shirts made that just have the words perfectly cromulent on there?
I mean, we might get. Well, no, I guess we can't get sued at this point because it's in the
No.
dictionary now. So
Right.
yeah.
Look. So there were shots of this character. I don't even know her name. Miss Stellar Blade.
Eve. Is her name.
Eve. Okay, so Eve was shown in early, like, alpha footage trailers with a bunch of different optional outfits, and one of them is called Holiday Rabbit, which is basically just a one-piece, backless, black swimsuit that has a little bunny tail on it. And in the final version of the game, the developers have said on record in interviews that the final version that made it into the final version of the game is what they had envisioned for this outfit in the first place. They just didn't get it done by the time the early trailers had released. But basically, it's like it adds a little bit of lace in the chest area, and the hip cut don't go up as high anymore.
Okay.
It is such a minimal change. And again, in a game where you see Eve's tits
Right.
jiggling
Like
freely, constantly. And it's like, I've seen footage of the quote-unquote censored, like, outfit in action, and, like, her ass is still all the way the fuck out. You still get juicy jiggling side boob whenever she does the move where she picks up a can of soda. Like, it's all there. But apparently this is censorship. I can't believe that Sony and the DEI would censor this game. I can't believe they would do such a thing to this game. And so now you've got fucking Mark Kern, king of the losers, leading the fucking way. Mark Kern, if you don't know, is a former Blizzard executive. Was the co-founder and CEO of Red 5 Studios, had worked on World of Warcraft, and notably was fired from his position as CEO of Red 5 Studios after he brazenly spent a lot of fucking money on promotion and marketing for the game Firefall. Just look up, take a moment, pause the episode, go on Google and look up Firefall bus, and you will see what this dumbass spent $3 million fucking on. again, just a fucking big old dum-dum who made a lot of very poor decisions in every position he ever held in the video game industry and was swiftly removed from all of them. And now instead he spends his time being a grifter and riling up the horny loser fanboys online who decide that they need something to masturbate to. And so now
And the
he is
skin suit is not enough?
apparently the skin suit
enough?
not enough. No, not at all. So this is a dude who basically thinks any effort to have diversity in games is terrible. That he's very outspoken. He's one of these dudes leading the charge against Sweet Baby Inc., but is completely fundamentally misinformed as far as what the fuck consultants even do. What you would think that someone who worked as an executive in the game industry would have a fucking clue as far as what a consultant does. But no, he's one of these dumb anti-woke, basically I can't jerk off anymore because woke. That's this dude's entire personality. And so he created a change.org petition, and I'm just going to read this, and I will try to get through it without laughing, but I'm going to laugh. So he says, Stellar Blade is a phenomenal new game that just launched on PlayStation 5 worldwide, but it has a problem. The content has been censored from the original trailer version posted by Sony. We, as gamers... I'm sorry. I can't deal with we, as gamers, as if gamers are a fucking protected class. Anyway, we as gamers want this content back. We relied on it. We made the game the #1 pre-order worldwide because of it, and this is the true game we want. Stellar Blade is more than a game. It has become a cultural beacon for freedom of expression in a time where game publishers like Sony are censoring games more than ever. Stellar Blade was a breath of fresh air, and Gamer rallied behind it because it meant things were changing, getting better, and the voice of creative freedom was ringing loud and clear. But for reasons unknown, the game was censored, changes were made. What we received after our good faith purchase was not the same as advertised.
What?
I never heard of this
All
tweet.
this because of literally fucking 0.02% less titty overall in the game.
I never heard of this tweet, but I googled him real quick while you were talking. He looks like the incel version of John Romero, basically, is what he looks like.
Yeah. So basically, you've got a bunch of lonely online men having meltdowns over one outfit of several available in the game, now featuring a little bit of lace here. A little bit of lace in the cleavage area.
You know what? If Stellar Blade has to sacrifice itself to be like the stick that you can throw and all the fucking incel weirdos online chase it like a dog and make that the next thing they tackle, then that's that's a sacrifice Stellar Blade is gonna have to make, unfortunately. So
yeah. It's fucking wild. But yeah, the TLDR is terminally online weirdos who don't get laid as much as I do are having meltdowns over Stellar Blade's character design changing ever so slightly.
cool.
Yep.
Micah, aren't you glad you missed all that discourse?
Yes, I am, actually. I am too old for this shit.
Meanwhile, and to Carrie's point, what we got is still the horniest game on the market right now that's being published by a major publisher. But
it's I'm scrolling through the Stellar Blade tag on Twitter currently, and I'm seeing a lot of people post a lot of gameplay footage, and so I'm seeing a lot of different outfits, and it's there are so many where it's she's literally in a fucking bikini,
Brad,
or again the skin suit, or
just look at that, Brad.
Any of it. Yeah.
Exactly. There you go.
And you don't even have to work for that. It's essentially you just taking off the armor that they give you in the game.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this game was designed with a character meant for the male gaze. I think that's pretty fucking obvious, right? And literally no one would have had like an issue with this game at all. And now it's turning in this like, oh well, the woke mob is taking this from us kind of discourse about it. It's fucking stupid. And I
Jesus.
really need straight men to stop.
Don't we all? Honestly.
I need these guys to jerk off more, man. Like, just like you
But
got all this
Micah,
fucking
that's
pent
the
up
problem, is
energy,
they can
man.
no longer jerk off without with that little piece of lace on the bunny suit outfit, man.
You know
That's
what
it,
this
man.
is. You know what this is, and I know I say it every other week about politics and video games, but this is the reason why they want this is, and if I'm reaching here, let me know. But this is literally a game where you can control a woman, like control a woman, and the fact that you can't put her in what you want her to wear, they took control of a woman's body from you, even in a virtual space, and people are having a problem with it. Like, I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I clowned Jay when he moved to Mexico. I was like, come on, man. Like, don't be fucking. It's fine. America's fine. It will be fine. I don't think we're gonna be fine, man. I don't
No,
think
we're
we're gonna
not,
be
man.
fine. I don't think we're gonna be
Well,
fine.
you're ascribing this to America. Unfortunately, this discourse has been co-opted by many people around the world, not just in these United States. So, incels know no borders, Micah. Like, this is one of those times that I think we could all just sit back and take a little bit of advice from not known gamer, The Rock, when he just said, "Enjoy your gaming, guys. Just enjoy your gaming." So, we're gonna take a quick break, and then we'll be back.
It's woke.
Yeah. Carrie's going to talk more about Final Fantasy VII Remake. All right, so Carrie, you say that you played a lot of Final Fantasy Remake yesterday.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, my partner was out of town, and so I sat in the middle of the king-size bed with the PlayStation 5 controller on my lap, and I played like 5 hours of 7 Remake just without getting up. Which is a lot for me. I usually don't play games in that kind of length of time all at once. And it also felt like a lot because I got from like the Wall Market segment all the way to them dropping the plate on Sector 7. So now I'm in like the aftermath of that. So it's like I did like 5 chapters. So like it did feel like, it felt like a lot. I wasn't expecting to have tender little feelings when the minor members of Avalanche started falling one by one like flies. I was just like, oh no, my man Biggs. Oh no, not Jesse. And then I was like, man, they really dropped that shit on Wedge while he was holding his cat. So I was like, man,
Wedge's cat.
upset. Man.
And it's funny because you shouldn't care about those characters, but you know,
Well,
when you take a
that's the thing,
6-hour game into a 40-hour game, you got to develop
thing,
them.
right? Is, you know, again, not having sat and played through the original Final Fantasy top to bottom, FF7 top to bottom myself. I have played the original Final Fantasy top to bottom. I wouldn't recommend it. But it's the idea. I think the fact that I gave a shit about any of those characters is really a testament to how good the writing can be in the expansive remake project that they're in the middle of currently. It's just like, you know, my partner had said that it's just like, yeah, these characters are in the game for like 5 minutes originally. And it's just like they die at the end of the Midgar section and you're just like, okay, cool, whatever. Like you just move on. Like it's just like, it sucks, whatever. And then you move on.
They're bit characters that you
right,
just,
exactly.
that you
And now they're not bit characters anymore. They have personalities and you have the opportunity to spend time with them. And therefore it's just like, oh, this sucks. Like, so yeah, I just got to them dropping the plate. I mean, given the other wink wink nudge nudge Gundam references that I have experienced so far in this, also kind of feels like a Gundam reference. Feels like when like Zeon drops the colony on Earth.
I will say the one thing that the original game does not do a good job of conveying, that I think the remake I'm sure does a better job of conveying, is like how fucked up it actually is. what Shinra did. Like again, imagine like a bomb falling on like an eighth of a city and taking out like an eighth of the city's population. And that's literally what happened essentially. And they did that just for
just to get
PR,
back at Avalanche.
just for PR, basically.
To make it look like this Avalanche did this. So
it starts that way. It starts that way, right? Like in the next one, they like, oh, we on the run, Cloud. We gotta, and it's like, okay, but and they're being persecuted, right? But then they just kind of lose that, because you got to finish out the first disc, and then they focus more on Sephiroth and less on the fact that this megacorp is kind of coming after them. Like they still pursue them, but they're also, but even the megacorp they're like, oh, well, they're going to lead us to Sephiroth, so let's just follow them.
I basically my thought on Remake so far, and it's like I can tell that I'm sort of coming up on the back sort of third of this. Feels like the plate falling is like the start of the third act.
It is. It's the end of Act 2, and then it's like we got to go get revenge. Like that's literally
so it's like Aerith is gone, Barrett's back. Let's go find Aerith and I guess Marley. And it's like there are so many things about FF7 Remake that I find really fun, and then it's like that little bit of fucking Nomura bullshit creeps in, and I'm like, I don't like that. I don't like that bullshit. I don't like this stuff with the fucking ghosts or the whispers or whatever they're called that all look like wrinkly used condoms, by the way. I cannot.
Oh, but they're integral to the story of Remake.
Are they?
Oh, they are. You'll find out just how integral they are later on. So.
And then like I had a buddy be like, well, contrary to popular belief, Nomura isn't actually responsible for this story. And in an interview said he wanted to just remake the original story, and apparently it's more Kitase and Nojima that are behind the modernization of the story and the whole like change your destiny kind of plots about it. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. I'm gonna call it Nomura bullshit because Nomura has been doing this bullshit for 20 fucking years. This smells like Nomura, therefore it is Nomura.
It is very much. You will find out just how much in the next several hours of gameplay. So.
Yeah, so we'll see. I already know that like I wasn't gonna go from remakes right into Rebirth. One, because I want my partner to be able to finish Rebirth before I start putting a lot of hours into it. But also it's like I got other games I want to play this summer as well. I want to play FF16 before I go back to 7. But yeah, there's so many things that I really like about Remake, and then it's just like you get that whiff of Nomura's like usual nonsense, and I'm like, man, that motherfucker should not be directing games. He is not good at it, and I wish he would just stick to art. Thanks, bud.
Speaking of evil multinational corporations, our one news story of the week is it's just an annoyingly frustrating one. Like we shouldn't have expected any different to get this result, but it still doesn't make it any less annoying. So, a lawyer for the ESA, the Entertainment Software Association, who's basically like, think of them as like the Roger Goodell of the game publishing industry. Like they're the public arm that's the voice for all of the game publishers, as a collective unit. And he was asked in an interview about a theoretical scenario in which public libraries were permitted to preserve online video games after official support had concluded, which is a big topic nowadays. Like game preservation, as we see a lot of games, coming offline, servers coming down, license agreements expiring, things of that nature. It's a hot topic. And in response, this lawyer, Steve England, said that there was no combination of limitations ESA members would support to provide remote access for video game preservation, essentially. I say that, we can't wait for corporations to come in and save us and do the right thing here. It would be really cool if modern video games could, become, the next venture of, the Library of Congress. That would be really neat. Or if, again, as this hypothetical presumes, like, maybe you just let public libraries do it. Like, public libraries already are a bastion of preservation of literature, and audio and stuff like that. There's no reason that they also could not get into this from a video game aspect, considering it is the new, it is the medium of our times, like one of the major mediums of our times, and these games deserve to be preserved. But companies won't do it because on the off chance that 20 years from now they might sell you a re-released version of this game from, however long ago, that they can make a couple bucks from. And so certainly they don't want to assist anybody in making sure the original versions of these games are preserved and still able to be accessed by people after their utility has gone away. This really frustrates me.
Yeah.
Really frustrates me. So.
Yeah, it stinks, man. Like nowadays, if you want to play an old Sega game, you better buy the latest Yakuza game and then go to an arcade there. That's probably going to be the only place where you can play some of these games.
Or
just fucking emulate it.
Just emulate it.
It's wild to me that the people making the biggest argument in favor of piracy are the publishers themselves.
Yes. Correct.
Right? Like,
sorry, they continue to radicalize me in this regard. So, about to start wearing an eye patch and a 3-cornered hat every time when I do the show from now on. So that was the only bit of news story this week. So we are going to hop into something I really enjoyed when I did this with Micah, and I will enjoy it doing this with Micah and Carrie, and that is another round of console drafts. This time we are doing the 32-bit generation, 64-bit generation of game consoles. So that means Sony PlayStation, Nintendo 64, Sega Saturn. If you're feeling really froggy, Atari Jaguar, Panasonic 3DO.
3DO.
Yeah. So like if you're really feeling it. So we're gonna each draft an 8-game video game console. The way this works is we're gonna do a snake draft, which means that somebody will have the first pick, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, and then we wrap around and do 3, 2, 1. So whoever gets the third pick will then have the fourth pick, and then the first pick gets number 6 and 7, and so on and so on. Once a game gets drafted, it is off the board for everybody else. And again, we are not picking our preferred console. We are picking the console that we think will be most appealing to the masses, because much like we did last time, we will put this in the Discord at densepixels.com/fans and let you guys, the listeners, vote on which console you would prefer, assuming that if you buy this console, you can't play the games on the other console. These are the 8 games that you own for this console forever, and you're going to pick your favorite one and the one that you would want the most. Because I am a gentleman, and Carrie was not here for this first one, she's going to have the first pick. Then me, because I won the last one, and then Micah will have the third pick. So we have the Nintendo 64, the Sega Brattern, and the Sony Pain Station.
I think Sega Brattern is probably one of those games.
That's pretty good, man.
That's pretty good.
All right,
so it's any game from any of the 5th gen consoles,
yes,
right? Okay.
and like I said, once it is picked, it is off the board for everybody else.
I gotta go Final Fantasy VII, man.
Interesting.
Like,
Interesting. There's a lot of really good options for this first pick here. Final Fantasy VII was one that I had on my list.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think a lot of it is recency bias for me in the grand scheme of things, but ultimately I'm starting to see why people have gone completely insane about this game for the last 20 years. So.
Okay. Look, if you pick Final Fantasy VII, that's fine. I'm going to take Super Mario 64 off the board. And put that, you know what? You might as well just take the best platformer of that generation. Just like stick it right on there. Easy first pick. All right, Mike, you get 2 in a row here. So.
All right. I guess I'll take Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
And okay. See, I my instinct is telling me to go with this one game.
Mm-hmm.
But is it the game that like you can only play?
If you don't take it, I am, because I know what you're thinking. If you don't take it, I am.
I'm gonna go with Metal Gear Solid.
Okay, yeah, that was gonna be my next pick if you left it out there. So, if Carrie had picked Mario 64, I would have given serious consideration to picking that with my first pick, honestly. Or if Carrie hadn't picked Final Fantasy, I mean, I would have. Or if she had picked Mario, you know what I meant. Yeah. So, yeah, Metal Gear Solid. Okay, so now this is tough because, like I said, I think that the 4 games that we picked so far are kind of like the easy top 4 of this generation. Like, I think that they are a tier above everything else. And now I think we get to this like muddy second tier, which there's a lot of good options, but I don't know what the best option is. I will go with Resident Evil 2.
God damn it! That's what I was hemming and hawing with. I was like, oh, do I get Metal Gear? Or do I get Resident Evil?
Yeah, I think Resident Evil 2 is the one is one that will appeal to a lot of folks on this list. So, Carrie, you get 2 straight picks.
Okay. I'm going to take Mario Kart 64.
Okay.
And GoldenEye 007.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I was thinking about it, but like, there's a lot of nostalgia goggles with GoldenEye. Like, you go play GoldenEye again. You should have to play it with the controller that that game is attributed to.
That's valid, dude.
So back to me. I'm stuck between 2 games. They're both in the RPG space. I think that time has favored this game, and I want a good JRPG on my list, so I'm going to take Final Fantasy IX as my next pick.
Okay. Do I have an RPG? I don't have an RPG yet, right?
You have Legend of Zelda, which is one foot in, one foot out. Yeah,
I consider that more of an adventure game.
Yeah.
But, okay. I'm going to pick Final Fantasy Tactics.
Okay.
Because that game
Bitch,
is really
that's
good.
A good one.
Yeah. I had that on my list as well. So good choice.
I wasn't even thinking about it.
Good choice.
I go again?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm looking at a. God damn, man! Like, as much as I really like this era of games, like there are, like you said, the standouts really stand out, and then there's like, all right. I think I'm gonna go with I want that, or do I want it? All right, I'm not gonna fall into the trap of getting what I think I would want right away.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna say F-Zero.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
F-Zero. I can't remember what is the Nintendo 64.
F-Zero is either 64 or F-Zero X or
F-Zero. It's F-Zero X.
It's F-Zero X.
Yeah, it's F-Zero X. Okay.
Because GX was the one after that on game.
I've got 3 fighting games on my list, and I feel like that this is the time to take one. And I'm really stuck between 2.
I was going to take one. But,
and I'm probably going to take the one that you weren't going to take. I'm going to take Super Smash Brothers.
Bitch!
All right, so Carrie, yep, you're next with the wraparound.
I get 2.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to take Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
Fuck!
I know, man. Shit.
And Tekken.
Damn it. Okay.
Oh, you motherfucker, man.
I'm assuming you want Tekken 3?
Yeah.
Just say yes. Just say yes. That was it, man.
Those
God
were
damn it.
yeah, that was tough. That was tough. That was tough. Oh my god. All right. Let's take a quick break and then we will continue the back half of the draft on the other side. All right. So Carrie had a great 1-2 pick. I thought Tony Hawk might actually hang out there for a little bit. I was planning on taking that a little bit later on. So
Not only is that game fun, it also shaped the musical taste of my entire generation. So
I have a weirdly odd, like I have a really high amount of N64 games, more than I thought I would on this list. I'm going to take the other Zelda game. I'm going to take Majora's Mask, just to kind of get that action, like that epic action game, on there. I'd much rather have Ocarina, but Micah smartly took that with his first pick. So,
Man, I mean, I don't want to fall into the, because Tekken was so mainstream, and it kind of like that's the Tekken that broke through. All right, I'll have to come back to that. Maybe. Pick Star Fox.
okay.
Star Fox, I remember being very, very good. And I already got one of those. Sorry, guys. I know this is not riveting radio, but it's very difficult when people take the games that you.
It is. That's why you got to talk. You got to talk through your thought process.
So, if I can't have that, you know what? I will pick. Let me see. Hold on. I can't remember this game. No, not this one. Almost made a boo-boo. I almost conflated one game with the previous generation. So I will, in fact, I will take as my second pick. All right. There are a ton of these games, and I can't remember which one was the stellar option.
Oh, I know where you're at.
But,
I think it's
but I'm going to pick WWF No Mercy.
okay. That's the one. That's the one. That is the right one to take there. And I'm not going to take another wrestling game because, like I said, I think it would be cheapened to do that. I do want a racing game. Carrie took Mario Kart 64. I'm going to take Diddy Kong Racing.
oh, okay,
A great solo racing game as well as
that's true. Diddy Kong
multiplayer.
is, unless you're trying to fight Wizpig, man. Fuck that dude.
All right, 6 and 7 for you, Carrie.
Okay, I still need like a platformer, and I want
Fuck,
like
you're gonna take it from me.
I want like a spooky. I don't have like a serious spooky game. So I think I'm gonna go Spyro
Okay.
and Silent Hill.
Enter the Dragon is the first Spyro game, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
It actually was just called Spyro the Dragon.
Oh, okay. Well, then
Yeah.
never mind. You did not take the game I thought you were going to take, so I will take it now before Micah gets it. I will take Banjo-Kazooie with my 7th pick.
You son of a bitch. Let me see something. I think I remember playing. This. Hold on.
Well, Micah, these are your last two that you're getting ready to make here. So.
Oh, these are my last two.
Yeah.
Shit. Do I want to? All right. One of them is Street Fighter Alpha 3.
Okay.
Because I can't not have a fighting game. And since someone who does not play fighting games at all picked the breakthrough of that franchise, I will take my third favorite Street Fighter game.
Look, that ain't bad, all things considered.
And so I got one more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is actually pretty difficult because Oh, you know what? Um, I'm sorry. Could you read my games off for me, please?
Yes. Ocarina, MGS, Tactics, F-Zero X, Star Fox 64, No Mercy, Alpha 3.
Castlevania Symphony of the
Fuck
Night.
you! God damn it, Micah!
Hell yeah, brother!
God damn it! Fuck, man. That I was absolutely gonna fucking pick that. All right, so this is my last pick, and since Carrie's up after me, I can talk openly about this, so I don't have to worry about anyone stealing anything. So I still have 2 more games left on the list that I made that are still out there, but I don't love either one. And Saturn was famously the console that didn't have like a real Sonic game on it. So there's nothing. I mean, except unless you count Sonic R, but no.
Brad, everybody is Supersonic Racing.
And like all the other
Guys,
Saturn games are
right
like
on the ground.
no.
There's no time to look around, Brad.
Like Nights into Dreams, no. That was Dreamcast anyway, wasn't it?
No,
That was Saturn.
Knights,
Okay.
Knights was Saturn, and
Panzer
then the
Dragoon,
sequel
no.
was actually Wii.
Yeah, we don't need to do that. Daytona's not worth it. Fuck, man. Like, do I just do the one for me with this one? Yeah, fuck it. Gran Turismo 2.
I was
I was
thinking
gonna
about
say,
that.
like,
with
when
my-
you said I need a racing game and then didn't
Yeah.
pick Gran Turismo, I was like, what the
I
fuck?
thought you were
Like,
gonna say
I wanted the wide appeal, and now like I can get the sim racers in with Gran Turismo 2. So there we go. That's my last pick.
Okay. Look. There's a lot I could pick here. I'm between a few here. Because on one hand, you've got Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, which is a extremely underrated open action game in the same flavor of your Ocarina of Time Dora's Map. It's got a ripper of a soundtrack. On the other hand, I feel like not enough people played Mystical Ninja starring Goemon, and therefore putting it on this list would not benefit me in any way. Then, I like the idea of having a Weirdo Saturn game on there. I like the idea of maybe going a Panzer Dragoon Saga, because, like, the Panzer games are really good, but unfortunately, again, nobody fucking played those games because nobody owned a Saturn.
Yeah, there's a reason why nobody waxes poetic about the Saturn.
So instead, I think what I need to do is 1, stay a little true to myself, and 2, hit that wide mainstream appeal, and I'm going to go with Pokemon Stadium 2.
That is not a huge surprise, honestly. So cool. All right. I think we have 3 pretty diverse consoles here. So just to recap, we have the Nintendo 64, which has Final Fantasy VII, Mario Kart 64, GoldenEye 007, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, Tekken 3, Spyro the Dragon, Silent Hill, and Pokemon Stadium 2. The Sega Brattern has Super Mario 64, Resident Evil 2, Final Fantasy IX, Super Smash Bros., Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, Diddy Kong Racing, Banjo-Kazooie, and Gran Turismo 2. And then the Sony Pain Station has Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, Metal Gear Solid, Final Fantasy Tactics, F-Zero X, Star Fox 64, WWF No Mercy, Street Fighter Alpha 3, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
That Symphony of the Night pick's gonna fucking put you over the top, man.
Yeah, look. Everybody shat on me the last time. Everybody was like, "What the fuck? I'm not buying this fucking thing on clearance. Get out of here." I had to come back and try to redeem myself. Now, if I get shut out this time, if the vast majority of people are like, "Fuck a Pain Station," then I'm gonna hang it up.
The only, like I said, I'm pretty sure I would pick your console. Like, I think the only thing that might hurt you is not having like a traditional JRPG on there. Like, you have Tactics, which is in the vein. I think it's the only thing that hurts you. Otherwise, I think
niche,
that
though.
I like yours the best personally.
Brad, you have a lot more Nintendo in as far as percentage wise than I was expecting.
I know, it was more than I was expecting. Again, I'm trying to have this broad appeal.
I made a concerted effort to be like as diverse as possible. I think I only have like
that's where you fucked up. That's where I fucked up. That's where I fucked up the last time. Trying to be like, oh, I'm gonna take a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. Nah, people.
Now
don't
the
like
difference though is I've got Final Fantasy VII and Tekken 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
I'm gonna say I think
know,
Pro Skater might be your secret stealth weapon, honestly.
Dude, everybody loves Tony Hawk's Pro Skater.
So this will go up in the Discord, densepixels.com/fans. You all will vote on it, and then we will announce which the listeners preferred in the next episode. So again, if you're not a member of the Discord, go join it now so that you can vote on this, and so you can post in the post office where we answer questions from the listeners every single week. A couple bleed overs from last week for our 500 episode. Cal says, for the 500 episode retrospective, I found this podcast and started listening in 2016. I don't recall the episode number, but I believe it was Micah who said, quote, I don't like Marvin the Martian because he's always in blackface. I died laughing. I've been listening ever since. Love you guys. I'll be listening as long as you're recording.
Thank you.
That's funny.
Mark says, late to the memories part, but I have to say one of the funniest moments was your top 5 games of the year. When Terrence was near the end of his Xbox exclusive rope, his top 5 was stuff like trash, I don't really like this, but more trash. I think it was 2017 or 18, edited as, to add one of his games start off as, I don't fucking know. That is a very classic Terrence response for that. And then finally, Johnny asks, could you guys sell a punch better than AEW owner Tony Khan? 100% yes. Yes,
because I've actually been punched before. That guy's never been punched in his life. That guy's a rich kid. He's never, ever been punched in his life. So, yes.
I told you, I didn't realize this was in the post office when Johnny asked it, so I replied in line. But the funniest part of the Tony Khan getting punched in the stomach clip is that he literally, so he takes the punch, he does a flat back, which wasn't bad considering, for a non-wrestler, not the worst flat back I've ever seen. And then he literally lays motionless for 2 entire seconds, which in a wrestling ring is kind of an eternity, before he remembers, oh yeah, I just got punched in the stomach, I need to, hold my gut and writhe around in pain, this actually hurt. And I'm just Tony Khan, you should have been holding your fucking stomach on the way down to the ground. What are you doing? Fucking amateur? Right. Get out of here.
Get out of here, man. Get out of here. It was like he thought he was going to get pinned.
Yes. But that being said, I will give him credit for keeping kayfabe alive and wearing a neck brace during the NFL draft.
He's such a goofball, man.
So I give him credit for that at least. But yes, I could absolutely sell a punch to my stomach. And why they hadn't punched him in the stomach? They should have just had him punch him in the face. I guess they didn't do that because then he might have had to wear a shiner to the draft, and that might have been a step too far. Oh my goodness. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us this week. Don't forget to subscribe to this as well as all the other TNP Studios shows that are out there. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube if you peruse there. And of course, densepixels.com/premium to sign up for premium content. That's just $5 a month or $50 for the entire year as I get ready to record Look Forward later tonight with Jay. Yet another bonkers week in politics. It's gonna be something. But that's it for this week. Again, thank you for watching and listening. We'll see you all the next time.
See ya.
See ya.
You're watching the Dense Pixels YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button while you're here and make sure you check out our weekly podcast where we discuss the latest gaming news and our impressions on what games we've been playing.